Welcome back to the show. Well, our Hurry Hard community producer Resby Coots was recently up in Thompson for the Curl Manitoba AGM, and he spoke to outgoing President Sam Antilla about some highlights over the last year.
I think the biggest highlight for me in the past year was Curling Manitoba Connects, which is our way of connecting with all the clubs in Manitoba. Each board member was assigned a number of clubs to contact and to see if there was anything that we could improve on as an association in delivering programs to the membership, and also as far as what we're doing right. And because in fact we are doing a lot of things right. But we want to meet the needs of the curling community, and I think that was probably the biggest highlight for me.
Over 6 years on the board and a year as president, what did you learn about Curl Manitoba that you maybe didn't know or maybe didn't appreciate, say a decade ago, and that maybe curlers across the province don't understand?
I think one of the things, the main thing that I found was that curlers are generous with their time, they're great volunteers, and that's right across the whole province. I think one of the misunderstandings in the past was Curl Manitoba existed for the elite curlers and curlers within the perimeter of the city of Winnipeg. Well, I can tell you that the board members that were from the city of Winnipeg had a really good sense of rural and northern Manitoba, and really supportive of things that were going on in our clubs in rural and northern Manitoba. So I think the biggest thing was realizing that we're all in this together, and that we continue to work together to build the sport.
Craig Baker announced that there was a small increase in curling membership in the past year. That's a really positive sign.
It certainly is. I mean, we're nearing 23,000 members in the province, and we're one of the largest, we have one of the largest memberships of all the member associations across the country. And I think curling is going in the right direction. I think we're reaching out to younger curlers, as well as seniors and older curlers, because we have stick curling now, we have stick curling events, and we're reaching out with curling development programs for the youth. So I think we're going in a positive direction.
All right, joining me now, we have Braden Calvert with us, a former Canadian junior champion, world junior champion. You're off to another Canadian championship here in a bit, Braden. It's the Canadian Mixed Curling Championships in Yarmouth, Nova Scotia, coming up in a couple of weeks, November 9th to the 15th. It's funny how things work sometimes, though. You actually weren't an original part of this team. In fact, you were skipping another team that lost to this team in last year's Manitoba Mixed Finals. How did you get involved in this team?
Yeah, I was just golfing there in Carvery the one day, and I got a text message from Kerri Einarson saying that Derek couldn't make it. He had other commitments, and I kind of jumped at the opportunity to put that buffalo on my back and represent our province. So
that's Derek Samagalski, part of the Carruthers team. I think his schedule kind of was busy around the time. So he was the former skip. Now Braden's skipping a team of, you said, Kerri Einarson, Kyle Anderson, and Jennifer Clark-Roar. You were telling me, though, you guys haven't had a ton of practice time together, right?
Yeah, we're kind of going to be gearing up in the next couple days / weeks to have some exhibition games in that, because we haven't played as a foursome yet in an actual game yet, so that'll be exciting.
So what are your expectations then, because of maybe that limited time together? Do you still have high expectations going into this event?
Yeah, I think you definitely have to have high expectations, coming from Manitoba. The province kind of expects a lot out of you, and so do you. You expect a lot out of yourself, so we're just really excited to go represent our province the best that we can.
You already have some experience, as we mentioned, at Canadian championships. Do you think that helps you now going to another Canadian championship here?
Yeah, it kind of calms you down a little bit, knowing that you've been at big events like this before, and you kind of know what to expect going into the format of the event and all that sort of thing. So yeah, just really looking forward to it.
And now your men's team off to a great start this year. You won a Manitoba Curling Tour event recently. You've clinched your berth in the Viterra Championship. How have you felt about your team's start here so far?
Yeah, we've had a really good start. It's not easy starting the season after not playing with each other for a couple of years, but we've played really well, and we're excited about the rest of the season.
And one thing we may not know, the viewers may not know, you're still a junior. You've done so much in junior already, and you're a junior for one more year. You've got Matt Dunstone's old team. Are there pretty high expectations heading into the junior year as well for you guys?
Yeah, I think we've definitely set some goals at what we want to kind of do and accomplish, and we'll be kind of gearing up for that at the end of November, and all of December will be definitely a lot of prep for that Manitoba Junior Championship.
All right, best of luck in Yarmouth, Braden. Thank you very much. More members now of the Manitoba Mixed Curling team with us now, Kerri and Kyle Einarson, the husband-wife duo. You guys, this is nothing new to you. This will be your 4th Canadians that you will be going to, Kerri. What's that experience been like for you? Why have you guys been such a successful duo together here over the last few years?
Well, I don't know. It just seemed to work. Kyle and I curling together, we get along really well. Usually husband and wives don't really get along too much. I guess maybe because I'm maybe working the back end and he's the front end instead of both of us being back end. So I think that works out better because sometimes when we play for fun, it doesn't really work out.
On the mixed team, you're the 3rd, right? And
Yeah.
Kyle's the 2nd.
Yeah.
Is this a story where you guys kind of met at the curling ring together? How long have you guys been curling, even before you went to your first mixed title? How long have you guys been curling together as a husband and wife for a couple?
About 9 years. I'm not sure.
So it's been a while.
Yeah.
What are some of your memories then of going to Canadians? I know there's probably one that sticks out from a couple years ago, right?
Well, I broke my toe.
I wasn't thinking of that, but how did you do that?
I stubbed it.
Okay. So we were talking to Braden Calvert earlier in the show. He's replacing Derek Samagalski, who skipped you guys at the Manitoba Mixed Championships back in the spring. Braden was telling me, though, you guys really haven't practiced together as a team yet. Are your expectations, though, going into Canadians still pretty high, even though you guys haven't really practiced together yet?
Well, it's just really Braden that we haven't really played with. The 3 of us, we know what it takes and what each other needs. So Braden, he's a great skip and he's a young skip, so I'm sure he can figure out our releases and he'll fit right in. We played him in the final to win mix, so it was a win-win for him. So
No kidding.
I was really happy to ask him to come skip us.
You've been to several Canadian Mixed Championships, a Canadian Women's Championship last year. How do they differ in any way, or are they all the same because it's such kind of a big deal that it's a Canadian championship?
Well, I think maybe the mix is a little more laid back rather than like being at the women's, but it's to represent your province is a really honor in anything, in men's, women's, or even mixed or mixed doubles. Like, it's really a big honor to wear the buffalo.
Fair enough. Well, we wish you guys the best of luck coming up in Yarmouth, Nova Scotia, November 9th to the 15th. It's the Canadian Mixed Curling Championships. Back with more on Hurry Hard.
Hi, I'm Craig Baker, Executive Director of Curl Manitoba. I've done a little bit of curling. I'm very much a recreational curler. I curl currently out of Fort Rouge Curling Club. I've also curled out of Charleswood, and I did my juniors out of Fort Rouge as well. So Fort Rouge for me feels like, I guess, my home club, but all clubs are important to Manitoba. I think curling was just something we did as a family. It was something I did with my 2 older brothers. I think it's a great sport. Falling in love with curling is for myself is falling in love with amateur sport. I think I'm just a passionate guy about playing and participating in amateur sport. So anytime we get the opportunity to do that, I'm gonna jump all over it. Right now, one of the things I probably look at now is the ability to curl with my dad, and how many sports can you go and be competitive with a few generations on the ice at the same time. And to me, that is just awesome, and it's something I don't think I looked at 10 years ago. I would have said that I didn't think that was as special as I do now, and I think when I look back in 20 or 30 years, I'm going to see how awesome that was as well.
And that will do it for another episode of Hurry Hard. We want to thank the Rossmere Curling Club for letting us come down today. And of course, thanks to all our wonderful interviews. You can follow us on Twitter and Facebook and see all of our content from Hurry Hard on our YouTube page. That's at Shaw TV Winnipeg. So we thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Hurry Hard.